I did want to move on to another again before we get to some of the gaming stuff. Another interesting deal that's going on. I know. Shout out to that park place because I know that they in the article they talk about Craven as well. I don't think anybody really anticipated that was going to do well, but it is very, very interesting that that the Lord of the Rings, especially with you being across the pond, I wanted to talk to you about it, is not seeming to do well. They document here that it drew just 4.5 million on 2,600 screens, including the international box office. That's terrible.
Oh, that's
I some one almost made as much money.
mm.
But says the film grossed a little over 8 million in its opening weekend. The budget for this animated film was around 30 million, factoring marketing and the theater cuts. It's going to probably make 100. It has to make more than 100 million to turn a profit.
If it's a 30 million budget, you're looking at 80 to 90 million to break even.
It doesn't look like they're going to get that unless I don't see that unless word of mouth gets these people very, very intrigued by it. But yeah, I guess
it's down to 100.
Yeah, because what's the name? I know the other two. What came out recently? Moana, as well as there's something else that Sonic just dropped as well.
Sonic 3 is dropping. No, it hasn't dropped yet.
Okay.
But Sonic 3 is dropping in a couple of days' time, which is probably going to do big business comparative to anything else.
Mm-hmm.
They've re-released Interstellar Interstellar is beating Lord of the Rings.
Wow. So I know that. Look, I guess what they thought is that they couldn't look at. I'll give you plenty of time to kind of talk about some of the direction of what their, I guess, the approach. Let's say that, and with this storyline, it does show that despite both manga and anime having these very robust, like kind of baked in audiences, it's a hit worldwide. You can't just really just slap an anime skin on something now and expect it to just make money, right? And it didn't work for Lord of the Rings here. But considering obviously Rings of Power, and now we're going into this, what were your thoughts when we first heard about this being put out by Warner Bros? I mean, I know we talked about it a little bit, but like I say, you're across the way. We know and obviously it's a lot more personal for sure. We're dealing with Tolkien's material. So, what were your initial thoughts on like this damn thing getting made in the first place?
We kind of thought that it was Warner's response to the terrible Rings of Power, and so there was potential optimism there. There was like cautious optimism that okay, Warner are going to put out this War of the Rohirrim. It could be excellent. This animated feature, we saw some kind of like concept art, and it's just like, oh, okay, this could be good. This could be like the big fuck you to Amazon. And then when we discover that they're just going to girl boss it, and that kind of got people worried. Okay, and then people have seen it and they're just like, oh, it's actually shit. It's actually just another fucking piece of shit. The girl boss, bestest ever. Solves everything herself, doesn't need any help. The men are weak, ineffectual, typical kind of presentation of males today. This weird sort of target a female audience that does not exist at all.
It's not there.
And yet, we keep getting told that we're sexist this and sexist that. If the target audience is bringing more women to the cinemas, bringing more women to your product, where are they?
Yeah.
Because clearly you're not appealing to women either.
Facts.
Women don't like bitches, women like well-written female characters as much as men like well-written female characters. This boring girl boss trope is so thin. It's thinner than my fucking hair, mate. We're so fucking done. So, and it didn't subvert anyone's expectations. It was just like, oh, this looks like it's going to be, and it is, and it is. Yeah. So, just take it all fucking burn. Like I said, let them destroy themselves in real time. I don't care. I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see. Well, we're so happy with our product. We're happy with the message that we conveyed. I mean, we lost hundreds of fucking millions of dollars in the process. You know, all these companies that are doing that. Oh yeah, our stock price went down 8 billion when we spat in the face of our Gillette customers, but it was worth it for the message. Was it?
Well, was it?
Was it
And
though?
if your CEO is saying some dumb shit like that, board probably needs to get him the fuck out of there.
Without the board just been,
Yeah, like excuse me.
excuse me, sir. You think losing 8 billion of our money so you could go, hey, look, there's a trans person that can now shave due to hormone blockers. By the way, men are pieces of shit. Bye. You think that's a good marketing strategy? Sir, would you like to get the fuck out, sir? Sir, would you like to GTFO, sir?
So yeah, it's not doing well. I mean, look, when you do spend $30 million, I mean, even in animation is cheap. It isn't cheap, excuse me. So you know, you're already up against it. It is a reason why, especially with the Japanese, and why they treat it like a loss leader anyway. It's not going to be a whole lot of money in it. It's very difficult to get a return considering just how much it costs. But obviously, the goal is to have that sell more things, right? That's the whole goal. That's why many of those bigger Japanese anime companies, producers rather, they are okay with the loss, right? It's like, well, it's fine, but it's getting people knowledgeable about the property. And this is going to sell toys, it's going to sell merchandise, it's going to sell books, it's going to sell other things that we know that we're going to get a return on. So it's worth it. So for this though, between Warner and all those guys, they're going to lose money, and it's not going to turn into like a newer, younger, enthusiastic fan base for. And maybe that was the attempt. I don't know. For Lord of the Rings, maybe that was the goal, right? It's like, okay, well, the young people, they're in anime, right? Let's just slap an anime sort of skin on some Lord of the Rings stuff, and they'll be into it. They'll be all the way into it, and it's just going to turn into everybody, I guess, that license tokens properties. We're going to make all kinds of money on it, or maybe it's going the other way where they're licensing it, and they think that they're going to make more money off of it, and it's just, by all accounts, not going to work. So yeah, it's unfortunate because you got, it's fresh on your mind, right? You got Rings of Power, and then you go into this, and neither one of those obviously are being or seem to be well received by fans of the Lord of the Rings. And that's it's crying shame.
Oh well.
crying shame. Thanks for watching. Be sure to head over to Rippaverse.com to check out our comic book company. We have books, plenty of merchandise, and even some glorious animations from Rippaverse Studios.